The intervals for the A natural minor, okay, we just think of it as minor. We get a root, second, flat third, fourth, a fifth, flat sixth, and we get, this is the critical one here, a flat 7. So those are the intervals, and that's why when I write out my Roman numeral diagrams, I keep the flats from the scale formula in the Roman numerals. You'll see that those guys tally across there. In fact, I'll just put them in there. Okay, so that gives us it all there. But if I want to go a harmonic minor, the formula for that goes root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat sixth, 7. That's the difference there, guys. So, oh, remember that's diminished there, okay? Chord 2 here, we're going to end up with diminished again. Chord 3, here's where it becomes different. If you alter one note, it's going to affect the chords that you get. So we need to be able to account for that. So we get this 3 chord like that, but it's not an ordinary 3 chord. Because what we do as well is, I tend to think about this. When I write diminished, I always write the word diminished lowercase to denote that it's got a minor third. If I write augmented, I usually write it uppercase like I would do a major. And I do the same thing with the Roman numerals. So first here, it looks like it's a major triad, but it isn't. It's augmented. It has a sharp 5, but I still want to carry that flat 3 over there, right? So here we get a 4 chord. But this is where it gets good. That extra change in that distance, because we've just got one note that's different there, it means that chord 5, we end up with a major triad. So the chord goes from minor, which is a weak sound, to a major, which is a strong sound, okay? So that's the good stuff that we're actually after there. Now, chord 6. I'm going to carry this flat 6 across there to show you that that's what's going on there. Now this is where the good stuff happens. This becomes the true diminished. I kind of think it's a little bit easier to see the difference in these. I'm just going to do this. This is a tangent, guys. I'm just doing some little diagrams here just so that you can see how you might equate this as a little box pattern on your neck. So this is a neck. It doesn't matter where you are. So if I do it here, root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, and then we get the flat 6. You can see where that flat 6 lives here. Then we get the flat 7. And then we get the root again. So you can see there, that's the complete natural minor. That's what it looks like with that flat 7. And you need to see this. This is part of the visual thing that is about guitar and shapes and all that stuff. Now, like I said, the difference between this is root, second is the same, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat sixth, fourth, fifth, flat sixth. But what we get is this 7. We get a leading note. This goes T, do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But it does it in the minor. I can't sing harmonic minor. But this is the pattern. I'm going to put that 7 just here. You can see that that's the minor 7. And the major 7 would be 1 fret higher because majors and minors travel around in pairs. That's where we get the pattern there. Now, you could place this on any position. I'm not putting this at the first fret. This is just your starting point here, guys. And then when you play this, you'll hear how exotic this sounds. Just by adding that 7th. That 7th will add a lot of tension to the sound that you want. But the critical thing is this here, because this is the diminished. Right, now let's look at the B half diminished. I just want to show you the structure, because it's going to become important. We get a root, we get a flat third, and we get a flat fifth. We want to look at the intervals in between these. If we look at the distance between a root and a flat third, we get a flat third. If we look at the distance between a flat third and a flat fifth, we get a flat third. And when we look at the distance between a flat fifth and the 7th, what happens is we get a major third. This is why it's only half diminished. It's not fully diminished. Whereas if we take a B diminished chord, we get root, get a flat third, get a flat fifth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this flat 7 and I've got to diminish that. And I do that by double diminishing it. Right, now actually it sounds the 6th. But what ends up happening is we get a minor third there, get a minor third there, and we get a minor third there. Now, if we look at this, we can look at it on this diagram from last week. When we look at, say, this B half diminished here, you can see between the B and the D, it's a minor third. Between the D and the F, it's a minor third. But between the F, which is the fifth, the flat 5, and this A here, which is the flat 7, we get this major third going on here. This is where the circle of thirds comes in yet again. But then if we look at chord 7, it's got the proper diminished symbol there. Look at G sharp to B, we get a flat third. B to D, we get a flat third. But importantly, when we go from the D to the F here, that's the root, that would be the flat third, flat fifth. This is that diminished 7th, guys. So we get the full diminished because it's got minor thirds in between those notes there to form the tetrad. That's the difference. It's very, very subtle. Blink and you'll miss it. Look at that. It's got a line through it. That hasn't. That's proper diminished, but half diminished is also known as minor 7 flat 5. The thing to know is that in the 3 minors that we have, the natural minor, there is no true diminished tetrad. In the melodic minor, there is no true diminished tetrad either. Those keys, they have half diminished tetrads, yeah, so 4-note chords. So as soon as you see that diminished, a proper full diminished, like this, you know that you're in the mire of the harmonic minor. But the thing that this does is it ends up creating beautiful patterns, symmetrical patterns that guitarists love to bits. Yngwie Malmsteen uses this idea, but so do all your jazzers. Basically, it's about tension and release.